And welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly neighborhood TV show all about premium cigars.
Florida doesn't have no
Except
TV
he's not
show.
very friendly right now.
That's right. I'm not very friendly right now.
Because Florida don't have no TV show about cigars.
They don't.
Thank God for small favors.
Yeah. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Jim.
It's a wink.
I
Wink.
couldn't think of it.
So how's everyone's week? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
I wink.
All right. What are we smoking today, Scott?
This is the Kristoff Criollo. It's a Criollo Puro. Nothing but Criollo tobacco.
That is
Actually, that's not entirely correct.
it's not,
What?
It's not correct at
It's
all.
actually,
Oh, it's,
If you
it's
wanted
like
to-
the rare Corojo.
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of like the rare Corojo. It's not rare and it's not Corojo. So they called this the Criollo, but it's actually a Habano Puro.
We should
Not
also...
from one country. The wrapper is Habano from Honduras. The binder is Habano from the Dominican Republic, and the fillers are Habano from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. So it's all Habano.
We should clarify the joke is because Criollo is a type of tobacco. Not everybody knows that.
Well, let me explain. Criollo is a breed, and there are many sub-breeds within it. The word literally means sort of local flavor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Creole.
You know what? I think I heard that before, but forgot, so I can't claim I knew
I told you before.
that. Yeah, well,
So you don't know.
you have to remember. I've got to filter what's you're making up and what's true.
On show 300.
Well, when you figure that out, let me know.
You said
Because
it
I'm
on
not sure either.
show 373.
Is that when I said it?
I have no idea. Shut up.
So, Criollo literally refers to the idea that it's just whatever the local tobacco is. Not quite indigenous, but almost like that. But there are actually specific breeds of Criollo, like Criollo 98, Criollo 99, and so on and so on.
I see. And Scott, why are we smoking Kristoff today?
Because we have Kristoff events coming up.
Oh, do you know when they are?
Mm-hmm. One's tomorrow and one's Friday.
You wanna tell me?
Sure. Tomorrow, there's an event with Kristoff
On June 8th.
on June 8th
Okay.
in Fraser from 2 to 6. Pardon me for coughing. And then we also have an event with Perdomo in Lancaster tomorrow from 3 to 7. There's an event in Horsham with Forged this Friday. And next Friday, the 16th in Phoenixville, is Kristoff from 3 to 7. So we thought we haven't smoked one of these in a while. We thought since we have some Kristoff events coming up, you can meet the new rep, the lovely Veronica. Veronica.
I don't
Put
get that.
on your yarmulke. It's time for Veronica.
I played you the song.
I know you played me the song, but I never heard that song before.
I can't believe I haven't played that song before.
When I think of Veronica, all I think of
Why do you
is
think I just
Archie
sit here
and
and shut up?
The gang.
Archie and the gang. So,
Because there's no useful response.
What was it? Something in the Pussycats?
it's Josie.
Josie
and
and
Josie.
Long hair and it's straight in back. Josie.
I find it disconcerting that you know that.
I know every cartoon theme song somewhere in the back of my head.
Do you know Go Go Gophers?
Go, go, go first. Watch them go, go, go.
I guess he does.
No, I love Cousin Cool.
There's a tiny little area in the back of my brain
It still functions.
that it's the only one left. But for some reason, every time I ever saw a cartoon, the song from that cartoon just would reside there, and it's still there.
Wow.
Do Speed Racer.
Go, Speed Racer, go. Something about going down the track, and he's never looking
Hong
back.
Kong Phooey.
No, that's not Speed Racer.
No,
That's
no.
Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah, well, I got tired of Speed Racer, so I switched.
I love Scott
Number
Ray
one.
Brothers. It was great.
Hong Kong Phooey.
I was
Number
thinking of
one
getting
super guy.
I used to have I had a
Quicker than
T-shirt.
human eye.
I had a T-shirt of Racer X
Oh, cool.
I love Racer X. I think I want to get another one.
A new Racer X T-shirt.
I hated Trixie.
You should get a racer.
Trixie.
You get a.
She was
You
really
should get
naughty.
a.
Did you like
Racer
Chim
Triple
Chim?
X.
Don't even get me started about Target,
but
man.
he's an animal, so he gets a pass.
Yeah.
Trixie was just annoying.
You know me too well.
The Racer X shirt, you could tuck it.
No, dude. Only if you buy it from Target, right? Dude, don't even get me started about Target.
Pronounce it correctly. It's Target.
Yeah. So,
Well, the good guys won one in the courts.
so
Well,
good
actually,
guys and what did
I
they
couldn't
win?
even say it was the courts, but in Montana, there's currently a 50% wholesale tax on cigars. But the governor recently signed a bill that caps it at 35 cents.
oh,
So-
that's good.
Yeah, before a $10 cigar was going to be $15, but now it's like $10.35.
That's good.
So
So why don't they just make the tax 35 cents?
I don't know. Who knows?
That just is ridiculous.
I hear you. I know. Well, because
That's how
I
screwed
guess,
up this, that's how screwed up the government is.
but then a $1 cigar would only be. Oh, yeah.
That would be a big
Oh, yeah.
increase on a $1 cigar. That would be 35%.
Yeah, but better than 50% still.
Who sells a $1 cigar?
$1 wholesale.
Who sells a $1 wholesale cigar?
We do.
No, we don't. We don't have anything for $1.
Max, whatever those things are called, 337.
Oh, the
Little
little
Mac.
Max. That's not a cigar.
That's a pinky.
Yeah.
Not even.
Not even.
Although we sell a crap load of them, though.
You have to roll 3 of them together to make a pinky.
To make a pinky.
So, what do you know about Kristoff there, Paul?
What do I know about them? Well, they've sort of built their whole franchise around a very simple combination of Nicaraguan and Dominican tobaccos in all of their fillers. And it's really the wrappers that differentiate one of their line from another of their line. You know, they started out with the original, which was a Maduro,
Dude, that was a fantastic cigar. It still is.
and that actually has a Brazilian wrapper on it.
Yeah, I'm not a real fan of the Brazilian tobacco, but that's a very good cigar.
You're not a big fan of Brazilian?
It's okay.
You didn't like the BX3
It's good. It's a very good cigar. It's just not a fan of the.
of the tobacco?
It's a broad statement, but
Okay,
there
yeah,
are
that's pretty broad.
there are exceptions.
You like Brazilian broads, but not their
Sure.
tobacco.
I've never met
It's
a
a
Brazilian.
broad statement.
Yeah.
Rob goes once a week and gets a Brazilian wax.
Can't argue with that.
So in their lineup now, as I said, the variation is mostly about the wrapper. So they make one they call Vengeance, and that's got a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. They make the Ligero Maduro, which also has a Brazilian wrapper. They actually use a Brazilian on a few things. They make the Guardrail, which is particularly unique in that it has Zimbabwean tobacco in it from
Really?
Zimbabwe in Africa. What else do they
It's a
have?
rival to the Cameroon.
Yeah. Is that the only cigar that has?
It's the
Zimbabwe
only cigar in
tobacco?
the American market that has that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Zimbabwe mostly grows cigarette tobacco, and they actually grow a lot of it. But they have, in the last 10 years or so, started producing some cigar tobacco. And so far, the only producer, I won't even say producer, the only brand owner that's picked it up as an interesting addition has been Kristoff,
Kristoff?
with
That's
that
cool.
cigar called the Guardrail, which I think we featured on the show when it first came out.
Yes.
Wasn't that Jared's project?
No. That's the JT cigar. Jared's a cool dude, man. I like Jared.
Be very cool.
There's also, you know, it's funny, this cigar is all Habano, but they have one that they call the Habano. And that has no Habano. And it's got the Habano has a shocking Brazilian wrapper. And then they have the San Andres, which, not too shockingly, has a Mexican San Andres Maduro wrapper.
Thank God for that. We were one of the first people to carry Kristoff in the area when it first came out.
Were we?
Wow, yeah. Came back, what, in like 2008,
Something like that.
2005, something like, yeah. Somewhere around there.
They were also, not that it really matters, but they were the first company to make a big deal out of packing all of the cigars with tobacco all around it in the box.
Well, didn't Drew
thought
Estates
acid
did that?
Damned annoying.
Later,
They did that afterwards?
Kristoff was the first one to pack their boxes that way.
Really? I thought
So
I
that's
thought
who
Drew
we have-
Estate was.
That's who we have to blame.
That's what we have to blame, is right.
It's damned annoying.
It is very annoying. Tobacco, especially the Drew Estate stuff, because that smells.
Yeah, it smells like whatever
Yeah.
in God's name they infused it with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I actually took a bunch of that tobacco from acid boxes and put it like in a bag or a container, and then throw a bunch of Eduardos into it and infused them.
Well, I did something.
It actually worked.
I did something interesting too. I took a bunch of that tobacco and stuck it in a pipe tobacco jar, and gave it a name, and started selling it.
Did it sell?
I stick all that tobacco
couple
in a
of people
bag and then
bought it.
throw it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they come back and rebuy it?
One of them did.
Really? Wow. Wow. That's crazy, because that's a horrible, horrible scent.
I
I don't mind. I don't mind it. Like just before it's lit. I don't. I won't smoke it, but it doesn't bother me.
It bothers me big time.
I don't even put those cigars in with the regular ones. I have a
No,
special
you have it
cabinet.
in a separate case.
Set
Yeah,
the
yeah.
case out front. I don't put it in with the real cigars.
I'd rather that than somebody smoke a cigarette in the store.
Yeah.
Even the acids, as bad as they smell, smell better than the cigars that they were a copy of.
Oh, the Lars
Lars
Teton. Yeah,
Teton's.
yeah.
Which you could smell across a parking lot if someone lit up at the other end of the parking lot, and it was awful.
Actually, the worst, to me, the worst smelling cigar is the Groovy Blue, that grape. Oh my God, it's
We have a new customer
Foul.
who comes in and gets that all the time.
He comes in
They have a new
here,
size.
He gets,
They have a Bellicoso, thank
Oh
God.
my God.
thank God.
Yeah.
The world's been
The
waiting
world's been
for
screaming for a
Groovy Blue
Bellicoso grape
Bellicoso.
cigar.
Please don't send them to me.
Yeah, we got a new customer who comes in and his way out the door, he lights it up.
And the store stinks.
And the
for
store
like an hour.
stinks. Yeah. It's horrible. And you can, like, even if you're not in the room, when he lights it and he leaves, the smell just lingers there. And it's like, oh my God.
It's like snorting grape knee high
Yeah.
right
Oh.
up your nose.
I would rather do that. I would actually rather drink a grape knee high than
Yeah,
smell
radar.
that. Thank you.
Radar, yeah.
Well remembered.
I watched it show recently.
Did you?
I watched a couple episodes, yeah.
Early episodes, not the later ones.
No, it was with Harry Morgan.
Nah, they're not good.
Yeah, they are.
Nah, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. We could do this all day.
They're not
And
winning.
you'd be wrong. No,
Well,
I don't
I'd
think
agree
he's
with
wrong.
you, but then we'd both be wrong.
no. It's horrible. That show wasn't after.
You probably like Cheers with Coach too, before Cristiani and Woody.
I
Harrelson.
do. Coach was great.
He was,
He was.
very
Woody
funny.
was fantastic too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
I'm not
Wasn't McLean
arguing.
Stevenson only on for a year though?
Well, I didn't say anything about McLean Stevenson.
Oh, who was it that you talk about?
It's
Harry
once Frank
Oh.
once Frank Burns left, that show went downhill very, very
Jumped the
quickly.
shark.
Once Alan Alda got behind the camera, it was no
Yes,
longer
that
it was
was-
no longer a comedy show.
And David Ogden
It was
Steers
propaganda.
just doesn't compare.
Who what?
David Ogden Steers just
Yeah,
didn't
no.
compare.
Yeah, absolutely not. Although he did have some good episodes, it just wasn't a good show anymore. And it ran for 11 years. It ran for longer than the Korean War did. I think it ran.
That's longer than
Technically-
Cigar Time TV.
And
Wait a second.
sometimes it was harder to get through.
Technically, the Korean War is still on.
Okay.
We never signed
He
a
never
peace
signed
treaty.
a peace treaty.
We signed an armistice, which is just a cessation of hostilities.
Basically, a
But
very long
tech-
ceasefire.
Yes, that's all that is.
Okay. Well.
We're still at war,
Okay.
technically.
Well. Thank God the show ended. And that ending, that 2 hour.
I collected
Sure.
every movie, every series, every show
Yeah.
in DVD, and
Did you?
well,
Do you have
I
anything to
originally
play the DVD on?
wait a second. I actually wait. Oh, you should see my. I'm a audiophile, dude. I got
Shouldn't say that
reel-to-reel
on-
tapes. I got
Police
cassette
come and get you.
tapes. I got laser disc.
Not anymore.
I got
Do you have any 8-track cartridges?
yes,
Oh, wow.
and a machine to play it on.
That's
Wow.
impressive.
I got a machine to play all this stuff on too.
He kept the pickup truck just so he could play them.
Yep, I did.
Your Green Monster doesn't have an 8-track, does it?
Nah,
Okay.
the red one does though.
Oh my God.
The green monster.
So yeah, it was a horrible.
Did you ever see
The
that?
last show was horrible. It was
No.
the worst ending ever. Yes, it was.
Seinfeld was worse.
Seinfeld was bad too, but
Game
not
of
as,
Thrones was worse.
wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. It wasn't as good as the show.
Speaking of Seinfeld,
Yeah.
I just heard an interview with Julia Louis-Dreyfus last night. When she's not using a script, she's very funny. She's, I think, funnier just hanging out and talking than
Really?
she was on the show. Yeah,
Huh.
she's really funny.
Very rich woman. One of the richest women in the country, actually. So, all right, let's get our first impressions. Moose.
Getting a little bit of pepper and a kind of a citrus going on. Burning well. Good amount of smoke.
You think?
So,
Can't even see.
well, there is 4 of us smoking the same cigar.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's a bit cloudy in here, yes.
His is smoking one too.
That's 5.
5 of us
Five
in
of us,
one. In one
Yeah, but he's way
studio.
over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so far so good.
Okay, Paul.
I don't get much pepper. I find it kind of earthy, and the citrus really does jump out, especially on the finish. When I'm taking the puff in, what I get is earth, and after I blow it out, I get a shot of citrus. And I kind of like that effect.
Yeah.
I would put the strength fairly high on this.
Really?
Yeah, I'd put it at a 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Moose, what about you?
3.
Okay.
I'm at like maybe 2.5, 3. I don't get any strength at all. Now I did get a little. I got some pepper. I didn't at first, but I got it now. But I want to say it's not a lingering flavor, but it's a lingering feel on my tongue. It's
The
kind
tingle.
The
of yeah,
tingle
it's
you
kind
get,
of
yeah.
weird, but it's almost like a.
And,
It's almost
and
like a quarter-inch back from the tip of my tongue and goes like. It's
like
very
almost like a
distinct.
line right across. the
Yes,
tongue.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got that too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's almost like that. I am getting a little bit of citrus, and I find the cigar minerally. Then maybe I guess earthy might just be another way of saying that.
Saying that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the mineral, and the citrus. I get a little more pepper than you guys, maybe.
Okay.
It's very tingly though.
Yeah.
It is tingly.
No matter what you smoke, if it's got Nicaraguan tobacco in it, you're going to get a little pepper.
That's a safe bet.
Yeah,
So,
but you would also think cocoa, but I'm not getting any of that.
no, well, cocoa's a more subtle flavor, and
Yes,
citrus
yeah.
citrus isn't. So the citrus could be overpowering that.
Also, remember the Nicaraguan is only part of the filler and nowhere else in the cigar. So a lot of the characteristics that you would associate with a Nicaraguan cigar aren't going to be here.
I'm strength-wise, I'm with Scott 2.5. I don't find
Yeah,
this.
normally I find stuff stronger than you guys, but
Yeah, I don't find this strong at all. Now the Retro Hail has a lot more taste to it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of nuts off the Retro
Yes,
Hail.
absolutely. You haven't sneezed yet, so I guess you haven't.
no, I was actually thinking I did retrohale and I didn't sneeze. So
Oh, well, there you go.
I've been watching I just suddenly got into a bunch of documentaries on bourbon, like how they make bourbon. A couple on wine, and it's just the more I watch, the more I realize how similar, like,
Cigars, yeah.
and
Absolutely.
coffee. How coffee, even bourbon and wine has so many similarities. Not in what they're made of, but I mean all they talk about is the terroir. or the land, and the nutrients in the soil and how they treat the plants. It's just amazing, all of the similarities. And I also find it interesting how, and I guess I didn't watch anything on beer, but I'm guessing it would be similar with beer.
Very much.
That it's interesting that with all the similarities there, that's one of the most popular beverages to pair with a cigar. And even when they're tasting and they're smelling, and they did talk about the olfactory's got 10 senses and your palate has 5. And they also talk like we do all the time that you get more flavors through your nose, and that's where all the flavor comes from, even when you're drinking it. But it's interesting how a cigar pairs well with all of those, given all the similarities and how the plant's treated, how they harvest, the care that goes into it, and they're like this. The soil is everything.
Yes.
It's absolutely everything. In fact, they were talking about. I watched one last night it was done about Sonoma, and they were talking about like this lot is next to this one, and in this one you're going to get a different flavor because of the pine trees. There's like pine trees there, and the needles get into the soil, and you can
Changes
get
the acidity of the soil, and that changes the flavor.
and you
of
can get
everything.
it completely different. I'm like, you get the same thing with cigars. I also
It's the exact same thing, and the role, I always harp on this, but the role of yeast in all of those products is very critical.
oh well, it's you can't have it without yeast.
Fermented products
yeah.
all go together.
Yeah,
You should have some sauerkraut with your cigar and bourbon.
that might be overpowering.
Where do you watch these documentaries?
In the bathroom.
Don't say at home.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. That's where I watched. You know what? So did I start off with hand rolled? I can't remember. I talked about that last week. There was one about there was this guy Rudy something or other, who became out of nowhere became this huge like influential wine collector, and everybody loved the guy. And it turns out like all these wines were fake, and he got caught. Spent 10 years. And I think he had to pay back like $12 million. I mean,
Wow.
It had something to do with buying empty bottles and refilling them with stuff that wasn't the rare and special stuff.
what he was doing
supposed
is
to be.
he evidently had a fantastic palate. So this led to he could take different like wines and get it to be close enough to whatever he wanted. So it was really interesting, and it's cool that it's on. Some of them are free. Some of them it's like $1.99 to rent. So I haven't gone through. There's some on Scotch also. There's more on coffee. I haven't explored beer, but I just find it interesting.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Something weird is going on Instagram over there.
No,
Oh, there we are.
there you go.
I feel better already.
Oh, well, good.
All right, let's.
He's got the
Since this
magic
is only
touch.
a half show.
Apologize for
No, it's a
not
normal
It's a
show.
normal
having
show.
an hour show. I know you guys are gonna miss it, and well, at least me. You'll still have these guys. I apologize for that ahead of time.
By the way, what would you pair this cigar with?
Diet
Diet-
Pepsi.
Just gonna say that's what he's gonna say.
If I was going with more of a bourbon, I'm thinking maybe a rye actually, like a Redemption, or maybe a high rye.
A high
I could-
rye.
Or actually, you know what? No, I think this would actually go well with a beer. And I'm not a big beer drinker, but I think because of the citrus on it, I think that might pair well with.
Any wheat beer. Wheat beers go well with citrus.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, a lot of them have citrus
Or summer
in it.
shandy. Summer shandy. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
I'm not a shandy kind of person.
What would you guys pair?
For me, the right thing would be a rum, and particularly my all-time favorite rum, which is Flor de Caña from Nicaragua, the 12-year, which I think has a little bit of citrus and would balance it with some sweetness and a bit of bite.
Okay.
Ooh, rum. I didn't look up those either.
Moose?
Gonna be it's a little different here.
Jack.
No, actually no. White whiskey.
White whiskey. Nice idea. Avon is calling. I guess you're not old enough.
Oh, somebody's got a trike.
You're probably old enough.
Hit the red
but Nobody
button.
else is old enough to remember
hit the
Avon
green.
calling.
Yes,
What again, Moose? What were you saying? What was it?
white whiskey
Really?
from Five Saints. That's what I would pair it with.
Really? I think I would.
Because the flavors in this are subtle enough. They're not overpowering.
Right.
And neither is the whiskey.
Right.
It's just got a very neutral flavor.
With the bourbon documentary, I found it so interesting, like how important the barrel and the char is.
Yeah.
And they showed like they call it, what do they call it? Is it the big dog? Something like that? That's
White
what they
dog.
Was it?
White dog.
Is it white dog?
Yeah.
That's what they call the bourbon before they put it in the barrels, and then that's where it gets a lot of the flavors.
Color, yeah.
I guess that's why that maybe like I would drink a bourbon before a rum or scotch or anything else is because of the flavors that it's going to get from the char.
Well, and because of the sudden dramatic increase in the popularity of bourbon over the last
Yes.
few years,
Yeah.
Huge.
a lot of other liquor makers are experimenting with barrel aging and getting those kinds of enhancements to the flavor that you get from charred wood. So there are a lot of rum companies now aging in oak barrels. Not necessarily bourbon barrels, but the same kind of barrels.
Okay.
And charred at
They char
different
'em?
levels. Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Moose, let's last thoughts and put a number on it.
Well, the flavors haven't changed, and my thoughts on that haven't changed either. It's very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Very well made cigar. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, Paul.
I find the flavors have not changed at all. They're good. They're a little bit thin for me.
Mm-hmm.
I give it an 8.75.
All righty.
I do find that the flavors are changing a little bit. Like I got the pepper, but now it kind of went away. The one consistency is the citrusy, but on the last few puffs, I'm getting. You guys are gonna laugh at me, but pencil shavings.
Okay, good.
Were you going to say that?
I was not going to say that, but I'm getting more of an oaky flavor to it. But it's
All right,
along
so
the
his
same.
is a number 2 pencil. Yours is a number 4.
Right.
I'm getting an oaky on the last few
It's
puffs.
a barrel or
This-
Ticonderoga.
This cigar, I agree with what Paul said. I like the way he said it's very thin on the flavors. I give it an 8.25. I'm not a fan of a lot of the Kristoff stuff. In fact, we don't have any in Colmar.
Really?
And it's not because I don't like it. It just didn't sell up there. But maybe it didn't sell because I wasn't a fan. I don't know.
Could be.
You mean people follow your opinion in the store?
I don't know why.
I don't either.
I agree. It is thin on the flavors. It's not a bad cigar though. I would smoke it on the golf course. Absolutely, or if I was just going to relax.
The Kristoff are
It's
great.
very- yeah. I like the JT cigar from
Yeah.
the Jared
Oh,
cigar.
the
It's
JT
really good.
is
It's a
excellent.
very good cigar. I'd probably give this an 8.95. It's not a 9, but it's an 8.95. So anyway, all right. Real quick, one of the events again.
Tomorrow, Kristoff and Fraser from 2 to 6. Perdomo and Lancaster from 3 to 7. Forged in Horsham 4 to 8 on Friday. And the Friday the 16th, Kristoff again in Phoenixville from 3 to 7.
Thanks for
Welcome,
watching.
everybody.
Life's
Ciao
too
for now,
short, smoke
everybody.
cheap cigars.